or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, how to voice the radio, and now that I'm not on a train, I'd like to tell you how to win on day one with Buzzwole EX. You see, ladies and gentlemen, that new set, Interdimensional Crisis, is out in Pokémon TCG Pocket today. And when the set is out, I like to come along on day one and give you a couple of decks you should be playing. So I'm going to give you what I think is the best Buzzwole list around, and then I'm going to give you a Tapu Koko list, because you know what? I think Tapu Koko actually might be a little bit better. Sound like a plan? Excellent. But let's start off with the Buzzwole list, because Buzzwole is very fun. And look, on the face of it, when you look at Buzzwole, you go, looks fun, needs work. Because what we got with Buzzwole is 2 energy 30, 3 energy 120. During your next turn, this Pokemon can't use Big Beat, which is your 3 energy 120. And that is a kind of attack where I look at it and go, well, if I can get that working in a fairly easy manner, that's looking awesome and I'm in. But I need to get that working. I need some kind of shortcut here. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we've got you. We're going to be using Buzzwole, but Buzzwole is not really that good in the early game. We don't want Buzzwole early game. The good news is we have 2 new Ultra Beasts that do work very, very nicely in the early game. And as a fun little side note here, we do have 2 grass Pokemon, or at least ones that use grass energy. Although to be fair, they are also grass Pokemon. We've got ourselves Pheromosa, and we got ourselves Kartana. And they are the Pokemon we are going to be using in the early game here to make life an awful lot easier. You see, Pheromosa here, you do 20 to the active, 20 to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. And that is, frankly, a pretty big deal. That is going to work out very nicely indeed. Partly because you get a whole bunch of damage onto the board, and that's awesome. But partly because you can actually use this here to turn on Cyrus. Once you do damage to a bench Pokemon, it's a Cyrus target. So one of my favourite things about this isn't just the fact that you get to do 20 to the active and 20 to the bench, but you essentially get to make anything you like into a Cyrus target. That makes me very, very happy. The other one I really like in the early game here is Kartana. Single energy 40. And I told you this when this card was revealed. Single energy 40 in Pokemon TCG Pocket is ridiculous. Because you add in 20 damage for weakness, you're going to be getting some KOs turn 1 going second with this. But you don't need to KO everything here. What you just need is to get some damage on the board. These 2 are phenomenal. Get some damage on the board with these. This is lovely. Now, the other Pokemon you gotta have here is Celesteela. Celesteela is just non-negotiable here. Because Celesteela's got a ridiculous ability that lets you, once during your turn, switch your active Ultra Beast with one of your benched Ultra Beasts. The wording here being very important, it doesn't say one of your other or anything like that, so it means nothing's getting stuck in the active. You can have the right Pokemon active whenever you want it, and that's what I adore here. So, yeah, I'm playing Celesteela. You've got Pheromosa and Kartana as your early game attackers, and then you've got Celesteela, who is going to be setting you up very nicely, making sure you got the right Pokemon active. But I'm talking a lot about other Pokemon here. Where does Buzzwole come in? And the answer is Lusamine. Lusamine is the answer here, because Lusamine is a fairly ridiculous new supporter card that allows you to attach 2 energy from your energy zone to one of your Ultra Beasts on the condition that your opponent has taken at least 1 point. Okay, lovely. Well, this means that as soon as a single Pokemon goes down, use Lusamine, there's 2 energy on a Buzzwole, and then attach for your turn. Boom, Buzzwole's up and rolling. And that's the genius of the Buzzwole deck. We've got 2 early game Pokemon that work for a single energy that are going to get you up and rolling, get a bunch of damage on the board, etc. And then as soon as they go down, Lusamine gets activated. You then get Buzzwole up and rolling. And from there, everything should be a little bit easier, a little bit simpler, a little more straightforward. I adore this. It works beautifully. But what else are we playing here? Well, obviously, we're playing 2 Professor's Research and 2 Pokeball. Maybe someday I'll find a deck where I don't play 2 Professor's Research and 2 Pokeball. Today is not that day, ladies and gentlemen. Today is not that day. Pokeball goes and gets you a basic Pokemon, and Professor's Research draws you 2 cards. It's as simple as that. There's no way around it here. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes. These should both be a 2 of in every deck. There is even an argument here to play Pokemon Communication, because Pokemon Communication is going to be able to switch one of your basics for another. I do think you are going to struggle to find room for Pokemon Communication, if I'm honest with you, but it's one which I think there's a strong argument here for playing Pokemon Communication. There we go, I've said it. And then we finish off with a couple of really specific Ultra Beast cards. We've got ourselves Buzzwole. Buzzwole is a really fun card whereby it's an item card that you can only use if your opponent hasn't gotten any points, and then all your Ultra Beasts take 20 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. So essentially what we're doing here is hopefully using this early doors so that we can essentially survive a little bit longer, and then you bring in your Buzzwole with your Lucamine after your opponent's taken a point. Yes, I am well aware that there are going to be games where your opponent takes a point before you can get this rolling, and when that happens, I'm sorry, but I am telling you that this is going to come in very, very handy. And then the other card we've got coming in here is Beastite, another Ultra Beast specific card. It's a tool that means your Ultra Beasts do an extra 10 damage for each point that you have gotten. Now, this could either be a Buzzwole hitting for like 140, or a Kartana hitting for 60, or something along those lines. Most of the time, hopefully, this is going to allow your Buzzwole to do 130 and then potentially 140. But regardless of how you use it, that extra damage is going to come in handy. I like this. This seems like fun. Here's the list as a whole, and frankly, I like playing this list. With the traveling, I've not gotten as much time to play this list as I would like, and that makes me a little bit sad, but make no mistake about it, this has that combination of early game power transitioning into your late game, and that's kind of perfect. But I think there's a better deck coming in this set, and it's Zeraora and Tapu Koko. Because these are 2 lightning Pokemon, and basically both of them are just making it easy to get your energy. Zeraora, at the end of your first turn, you attach a lightning energy from your energy zone to the Pokemon. So essentially, if you go first, no, you can't attack, but what you can do is you go first, get an energy, and then it's turn 2, but your opponent's only had 1 turn, and you're hitting for 50 with Zeraora. That's ridiculously good that early. If you go second, Tapu Koko, single energy, 20 damage, and you attach an energy from your energy zone to this Pokemon, so then you hit 90 damage. I've already spoken about this in a couple of videos. I adore this card. Turn 1 going first, you hit 20. Turn 2, you're going to be hitting 90. I love both of these cards. If I go first, Zeraora should give me a turn 2 50. If I go second, Tapu Koko should give me a decent turn 1 attack, and then a turn 2 90. But there's another card which makes this deck even better, and that is Electrical Cord. It's a new card coming around in Interdimensional Crisis, and then this trio of cards together is my favourite trio I think we've had in Pokemon Pocket. If the lightning Pokemon this card is attached to, it's a tool, is active and knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, move 2 lightning energy from that Pokemon and attach 1 energy each to 2 of your bench Pokemon. So basically, you get to move energy over to another Pokemon after you get KO'd, bearing in mind both the Pokemon it could be attached to are cheating energy into play. What are we using here? Pikachu EX. Not the first Pikachu EX, might I add, we're going for the shiny Revelry, Pikachu EX. And the reason very simply is, we start off with two Pokemon here that have very good early game attacks, but you're hitting 50 and 90 damage. In a lot of games, you're going to be fast enough that will get you the win, but it's not going to work perfectly in every game. So what do? Pikachu EX. Free energy, 150, discard all energy from this Pokemon. And so, essentially, you start off with a Zeraora, maybe a couple of them, or a Tapu Koko or whatever. As long as you've got one energy onto Pikachu at some point, Electrical Core gets you to second, Pikachu comes active after a KO, you attach from your hand. It essentially turns this free energy Pikachu into a 2-energy Pikachu. That makes all the difference. And this is going to be your big game-ending hit. Here's a list as a whole, and it's a lot of what you would probably expect. Professor's Research, Cyrus. Now, the important thing here is we've got 2x speed and 2 leaf. We don't want to start with Pikachu. And we really want, if we go second, we are desperate to get a turn 1 Tapu Koko. So we're playing both the retreating options here because we are desperate to get the right starting Pokemon here to get the energy rolling in the right places. I've put 2 Giant Cape in here. This could also be Pokemon Communication, but I like Giant Cape for the extra HP. So there we go. There's the 2 decks I'm rolling with. I want to know which decks you're rolling with. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.